Good morning. Today I am going to show you the invention called System for the identification of safety signs for visually impaired people. I am Jorge Luis Contreras Cosio, and I work at a Universidad Privada del Norte in Peru. Well, let's start with the introduction, which is a very important matter. What you see behind me are safety signs. This safety signage is very important because it is placed in buildings to show especially emergency or important signs, but it is directed and designed for those of us who can see but for the person who cannot see this. This signage practically does not exist. Then the invention that I have made tries and gets it to be able to show people who do not see, or rather can identify them at any time when they are in that building. For example, you can see there are signs of exits, dangerous areas, evacuation, fire extinguishers. What have we done? We have given each signage a sound code that can be a sound or a vibration, or it can be a voice when the person who cannot see approaches that signage, let's say within an average of 2 or 3 meters, will know that there is a specific signage, and this system, this invention, will allow him to know that there is a signage there. This event is very important worldwide because it helps people who cannot see in such an important issue as security. I am going to share a small slide so that we can better show this invention. This slide shows us first, for example, this is a patent. We have already invented it and we have already tested what it does, and I am going to show you step by step the identification system of electrical safety signs for visually impaired people or blind people. It is a patent in our country, Peru. The signage that you can see is already registered. There it has been codified and given a vibrational sound code or through a text message so that it can be identified by people who do not see how it works. We can see the signage that exists in any part of the world. They are there graphically placed, but they have not thought about the people who cannot see. We have achieved it with this invention. For example, here we have a safety signage evacuation route for the person who does not see. This signage is virtually non-existent, is invisible. With the device we have invented, this signage will emit in the form of a code in an infrared signal to the receiver that has the blind person. So the transmitter is in the signage and the emitter is in the blind or visually impaired person. This infrared emission is only a space or a volume, so when the person is near, she will know that there is a specific signage and will be able to identify it. So if, for example, there is an evacuation, or rather an evacuation sign, the person who does not see will be able to know that there is an evacuation sign and that there has to go, or if not a fire extinguisher, a dangerous area, a meeting area, and he will know how it works. This invention is based on 4 electronic stages, a transmitter of infrared signals mounted so that they cannot be not have disturbances, a modulator and signal encoder for each one, then a receiver of modulated infrared signals that has it in the cane, a collar that has the person who does not see, and then there is a stage called modulation, that is, these 2 stages both in the signaling, that is the transmitter, and the receiver, that is the person who does not see, will be joined when the person is close and will be able to identify the signaling that is there. This invention we have already made and tested. It is an electronic system that we could say is not complex, but it has a level of difficulty because we have to program it. We have to encode all the electrical signals with the means of now we can encode this signaling with box combos, and the second version of the invention. The third would already have a message, or the person who does not see will listen directly and will not interpret with codes, but will hear directly what is an output. For example, is the sign that is there. It is an output. Well, then this invention is really useful to humanity in general, to people who are deprived of their sight. The person who cannot see has been thought of that because for many years security signs have been placed everywhere in supermarkets, buildings, and so on. This invention is for everyone, and we have made it with all our heart, and thank you very much for listening to me. Goodbye.